Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of October 26th through November 1st. And during that time, we have several moon phases. The first would be the waxing crescent moon, and that's a really good time of heightened senses, a good time to buckle down and be working on those new projects and things that we've started during the new moon. We will then have the first quarter moon that comes in on the 29th, the 30th. That's kind of when you'll be feeling that energy. And first quarter moon to me is a little bit like full moon. It's like mini full moon. I only feel this maybe for a day, but it's a little bit impulsive, impatient. Your mind is a little bit active. For me, it's kind of a higher energy thing. So I will, get a lot of things done. Tend to be a little bit hyper when that's going on. So manage that energy in whatever way works for you. Also, we then move into the waxing gibbous energy, which is from the 31st to the 1st. And waxing gibbous is a little bit calmer, of course, a good time for deeper understanding. Also, a good time to be flexible on the things that you're working on and also make plans for the future. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Capricorn. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: emotions are running high. All right, let's see what the Capricorn Collective has going on that's got your emotions running high. As I'm shuffling, my weekly reminder this week is that you learn something new. So think about something that's maybe had your interest, or a little topic that's just kind of been in the back of your head that you've been meaning to go learn about, and just use this week. Try to find a little bit of time, maybe 2 or 3 hours, where maybe stop at the library and get a book on the topic, maybe listen to a lecture, but take notes and really take the time to really learn and absorb the thing that you're learning this week. So that is just a fun weekly reminder for you. Excuse me. All right, let's get into this reading. Capricorn, October 26th through November 1st. Emotions are running high. Let's see why. All right, your overall energy right now is the Knight of Wands. So emotions could be running high over something that you're very passionate about. Something that you already have a lot of feeling for. Our wands are our card of fire, and that's the things that really drive us and the things that we're passionate about. So we'll see as the cards come out, but this could be anything from some passion project that you're involved with. It could be something with a relationship, but it looks like emotions are running high because it's something that you deeply care about. Your current situation is the 10 of Pentacles. So this could be, that you're very emotional about something like long-term wealth, long-term security. You're very passionate about maybe saving money for your retirement. And maybe your emotions are running high. Perhaps the stock market this week is kind of doing an up and down, and it's got your emotions in a little bit of a tizzy over that. So, is it about abundance or lack? I mean, this is a card of abundance. So it could be emotions are running high in a positive way that you're like, oh my gosh, look at my retirement account. So, but and I'll make the statement: when it comes to money and when it comes to investing like that, they say that the best reaction is just a very nice, steady reaction, because things do tend to go up, go down, but they also over time tend to level out. So that seems to be true in my experience. But so if emotions are running high over something like that, just relax, because if it goes down, I guarantee you what comes down must go back up. Also, what goes up also must come down. So works in both directions there. At the root of this situation is the Magician card. So at the root of this is, perhaps the Magician has come to you recently, and and a lot of times this happens when your life is kind of settled and things are going well, um or not. I guess it could come in any way, but the Magician is like, hello, pick your element. What would you like to change, and in what way would you like to change it? And perhaps recently you have picked material things, finances. Maybe you've picked the Pentacles to work on your retirement account and throw extra money in there, and you've been working really hard at that. So But at the root of this is the magician who is kind of it's indicative of some sort of awareness of maybe a change or something positive that you're doing, that you're taking control of a certain area of your life. And in this case, it could be Pentacles. So we'll see as the cards continue to come out. In your recent past is the Hierophant card. So you might have sought some guidance in this area. The Hierophant is our card of guidance a lot of times in the spiritual realm, but it can also be somebody that's older and wiser, or just better at a thing than you. So it could be that you sought some sort of financial advice and you're really seeing those things come to fruition, and you're very emotional about it. Again, emotions are running high. It doesn't say negative emotions. You could be thrilled over the moon that this money is coming in. So I would be if you got good advice from someone there. Let's keep going as the cards. I'm very curious to know what's going on here too, Capricorn. What's on your mind this week is the Eight of Swords. So feeling a little bit stuck, but this is our card of not only, this is kind of how did you get here, and know that you can think your way out of this. So again, if emotions are running high, what is it that you're, and it's almost like a mind, because this is sword energy. Just imagine that these are a lot of thoughts. Imagine all these thoughts that are in your head, and you need to think your way out of these thoughts. Again, it could be positive, it could be negative, but just know that you can think your way out of whatever it is that you're kind of stressing about. You can think your way out of that. What is just ahead of you this week is the Emperor. So this is a card of leadership. I've also seen these two cards together in other readings this week, and I love how they're facing directly at you, much like the Magician. I think the Magician was in that reading as well. These are cards that ask things of you. The Hierophant asks you to listen to their guidance. The Magician asks you, what is it that you would like to change, and in what way right now about your life? How can which element would you like to improve on? Is it emotions? Is it passion? Is it communication and intellect? Or is it monetary? The Emperor is looking at you and says, how can you be a leader? What is your vision for how whatever this is needs to move forward? How what is the system that you need to put in place to get to a place where you take on this emperor, what's the word I'm looking for? This is feeling of the Emperor, right? So the Emperor is like an authority figure, a builder, or someone who knows how to get things done. And that's in your future this week. That's you, kicking off. I feel like here these thoughts, this negativity, and really just coming into a focus where you're like, okay, I'm going to lead. I'm going to build something. I'm going to become established at this thing. And I love that this to me just reeks of somebody who is in control of kind of a generational wealth thing. And there's just money's coming in, and you know how to manage it to build for the future. In your advice position is the Queen of Pentacles. So I love that too, because not this is kind of the gentler side, where the king is about knowledge and control. The queen is about understanding. It's kind of the softer side of the element. So this is about the understanding of the material world. And again, it's the softer side. It's knowledgeable, but it's also knowledgeable in kind of the feminine aspect. If the King of Pentacles is the masculine, the queen is definitely the feminine aspect of it, and it's about the understanding and the gentler side of that. And it's also, anytime I'm talking about royalty, it's not just that you are taking on those feminine aspects of the queen and really having a good understanding about the material world, but you can also see how it affects and how other people around you operate in that way. Kind of like, like the queen, she knows what her constituents are up to. She knows where everybody is financially, not only herself. So that's your advice, is to kind of take on that role also. What is beyond your control this week is the Queen of Wands. So much like the explanation I just gave for the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands is the understanding about passion, and not only with yourself, but also with the people around you. You understand what drives people, what gets them up in the morning. Also, besides understanding that about yourself, you understand that, and maybe you take that energy and you put all that together, all of that passion and care about a thing. And that's where the emperor would come in and take that and say, okay, look, we're all going to get behind this particular investment. We all care about this right now. Let's pool our money and let's do a thing and let's build something. So you're kind of using all of those energies, and you're going off advice that someone else has given you for this long-term wealth building is kind of what it feels like to me. It could be anything in the material realm, but that's kind of what's coming out here. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid? Is the high priestess. This is very interesting. So there could be something. Is it your okay? So think of the high priestess first as, I love all these cards, by the way. There's a lot of feminine energy in here, also balanced with a lot of masculine energy. I mean, we're almost neck and neck, right? We've got one, two, three, four cards of feminine energy, four cards of masculine energy. And then this is like a family card. So I feel like both of these elements are coming into play here. It's like understanding, it says emotions are running high. And again, who tends to be a little bit more emotional, but it's kind of the female side of ourselves. Anyway, so back to the high priestess here. So this is in the position of secret desire or trying to avoid. So is it your secret desire to kind of rely on your intuition, your hunches, those things that, that information that comes in for you that you're not even sure where it comes from? Because that's totally what this high priestess represents is, intuition, paying attention to your dreams, paying attention to the signs of the universe, which, I would imagine the emperor is probably going to scoff at, even though, they're very close to each other. The emperor, that's not what the emperor relies on at all. But, the female side of it does kind of like, hey, we have to read the signs here, and the signals, and the emperor's like, just give me the facts, So are you trying to avoid that? Are and this could be that you had a dream about, this is just an example, but let's say you had a dream and it said, oh, you need to invest X amount of dollars in X amount of thing. And you want to follow that. Okay. The emperor side of you is like, no, that was a dream. What do no. So, and so you're either trying to avoid that because something's overpowering that, or it is your secret desire to go, no, I've been right here before and I'm going to use that intuition. Now, if you can combine both of these, if you can use I mean, talk about a powerhouse of how to do things, is combining your intuitiveness and the dreams and the signals from the universe, but also kind of being the book smart, here's how you get things done. Kind of, wow, that's a combination. Someone who can use both of those skills at the same time. So, something to think about there. In your outcome position, Capricorn, is the moon card, which, I love it when the moon comes out by the high priestess because I feel like it's like a double whammy, because to me they're almost the same. It's the same energy. This is what comes to you under cover of the night. Or what gets illuminated at night. So this is dreams, intuition, same thing, signs of the universe. So, I if I were you, if you've been dealing with something investing wise, I mean, I think this is kind of telling you, yes, use your intuition, but also think of, like, you have a lot of different things to consider to move in there, and emotions are running high, but you have to think your way out of it. That's totally, you've got to think your way through it even, right? Let's see what's hidden from you this week. I'm very curious to know. Is heartbreak, so that's good. That's also the second time I've seen that card at the bottom of the deck, exactly where we like that card. We don't want to see that. So, look at all these very powerful individuals, in this situation. And the fact that we have, let's see, we've got four major arcana cards. Five, one, two, three, four, five. I take that back. Five major arcana cards, couple of royalty cards. There's other people involved with this, is the first thing I would say. But also, anytime I have four or more major arcana, this is kind of a major thing for you this week. It's not something minor that you're dealing with. So, is this some sort of inheritance, some money that you've come into that now you've got to manage and deal with, and you're trying to do all that? It could be, there's so many just different scenarios, but I do think it has to do with kind of the long term, um, long term care of something. So again, whether that's money that you've come into through an inheritance, could be maybe you hit the lottery, it could just be some luck that you've had, but you've got people advising you, and you also want to use your intuition. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to cross my fingers because this seems like a lot. It seems like a lot. And if emotions are running high, take a breath. Remember, and especially like if this was happening, whatever this is going on, I wouldn't make any decisions during that first quarter when that high energy is going on. I would probably wait until the end of the week if I had to make a decision on something, or even move that into next week when things might calm down a little bit more. So, we are kind of moving towards that full moon energy too. And maybe, I don't know if I'd make a decision then either, but um, anyway, it's very curious, and I'm very curious to know. So drop me a comment if you're comfortable sharing, Capricorn. Let me know what it is you guys are going through and why you have so many people advising you is what I feel like. There's just a team of people around you. So let me see if I missed anything, especially numerologically. Nope, I don't have anything to tell you when it comes to numerology there. There's no repeatings in this reading. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Capricorn while they're going through whatever this thing is for them. Be open to love. And I'm even feeling like take a breath. Find a way to take a breath this week. This seems very stressful. It does seem very, again, emotions are running high. If you need to close the door, be by yourself. Get into your own head for a little bit and avoid other people. That might be a thing to do. Because emotions are running very high. And again, take a breath. Let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. What can you do? What can Capricorn do to kind of quell these emotions and relax things down this week? And the card that you get this week is intention. What if the only resolution you made was to love yourself more? Be open to love. Okay, I love this. So be open to loving you. And again, this reading just speaks like there's a lot of people advising you, telling you what to do, and you've got a double whammy here on the High Priestess and the Moon. And maybe it is being open to loving yourself and being open to letting yourself come up with those resolutions, that maybe that's why those cards are guiding you in this manner. So that is a big question. Would you trust yourself this week through whatever this is that you're going through? So Capricorn, I wish you all the luck with this. I'm very curious to know what is going on with you guys. So if you're curious, or if you're comfortable sharing, drop me a comment down below. Let me know, did some of you come into some money? Are you making some financial decisions? Do you have advice all around you, people telling you what to do? And take a breather. Just take a little bit of a breather this week. I know, as your overall message was emotions are running high, so try to just breathe yourself through that. And if you don't let people force you into making decisions that you don't want to make. There should be no pressure, especially if it's a big decision for you. You can let this go into next week. That'll be just fine. So anyway, Capricorn, once again, thank you for joining me. If you like my reading style, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel, but most importantly, it'll help you find me next week, where you are most welcome to come back, and let's see if this story continues or if there's a completely new energy here for you. So good luck with this, Capricorn, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.